registration for the 2025 CLIA Global Cruise Line webinar series. We're excited to be joining you today with Norwegian Cruise Line. My name is Johanna de Guzman, and I'm the Manager of Industry Relations for North American Travel Trade Membership here at CLIA. Before we dive into today's presentation, I want to quickly cover a few housekeeping items. We encourage you to engage actively by submitting your questions through the webinar's questions module, and if time permits, we will get to them at the conclusion of the presentation during the live Q&A session. For those of you who might miss today's live session or want to review the content later, this webinar is being recorded and will be available on CLIA's YouTube channel, CLIA Global. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce your presenter, John Chernesky. Take it away, John.
Hey everybody, sorry, we're having technical difficulties today, which means you can't see me, but hopefully you can hear me. And I got to tell you, I'm very disappointed because I'm having a fantastic hair day, and to not share that with everybody is a real disappointment. But that is life. We shall move on, and I got a bunch of stuff to share with you today. Um, so off we go. Let's go. Thanks everybody at CLIA. We really value our partnership, but first and foremost, I want to thank all of you, the members of CLIA, and the support that you're showing. I'm so happy that you're members of CLIA because it is so important as a group for the education and the training awareness and everything that CLIA stands for is super important. But more importantly, I want to thank you as the travel advisor community for all that you're doing in terms of selling Norwegian Cruise Line. You guys are doing a great job. I really appreciate you and want to thank you for all of that. More importantly, I want to thank my good friend Charlie. He is not available today. He's going to be listening to this on a recording because he's got some other stuff going on. But my good friend Charlie, dear friend, I love this picture, so thought I'd share it. I pretty much put every presentation at the front of my presentation. I always talk about the power of travel and how we are so lucky to do what we do. My good friend Alex Sharp talks about this as a get-to job. Whether you're in my role or selling travel like you guys do each and every day, this is an amazing industry. And I've been blessed as a father and a husband, father of twin boys, that my boys have done only 15 cruises in their 18 years on the planet. And so we are very, very lucky, to say the very least. I love this quote. Travel is not reward for working, it's education for living. And I think that's super important. And the quote from Anthony Bourdain, and I actually dug this old picture out of me and Anthony. I met him at an event. He was a keynote speaker. And I just love this saying because it really is important to focus on. And it's not just, oh, at the end of the day, you maybe, if you're lucky, get to go on a trip. It's the power of the trip and what it does for your education. Speaking of education, my boys, my twin boys, are freshmen at the Miami University in beautiful Oxford, Ohio. We were just visiting with them a couple weekends ago. They're doing well, I think. They love it when we visit because in the state of Ohio, you can buy alcohol for your kids if you're so inclined, and we do, and they absolutely love it. Now, they've been away for about 3 months now, and as you know, for anybody who's tuning in here and has boys, they are so good about sharing their story and providing updates on a daily basis about their journey in college. And I wanted to share some pictures that they have shared with us. And so here you go. Those are the pictures they've sent through. They're fantastic. Kidding, of course, they've been great. We talk all the time and they're doing well. But more importantly, I wanted to share the latest picture from my favorite son, which is, of course, Murphy. And there is the Murphinator, as we call him, Mr. Murphy, Murph. He is the best son ever. I'm going to share a bunch of stuff. I just did a webinar a couple days ago with John Cass. And so for those that tuned into that, you might get some of the same slides. But you know what? Sometimes you have to listen to it more than once to understand it. That's my rule. I typically take about 8 listens to learn something. So we're going to go through some stats that came in from our annual survey that we do of the travel advisor community. That's all you guys, and 6,000 of you completed this survey in July. And I want to share some of the results of that. And what I'm doing here is trying to give you some tips on how you can grow your business. You know, I think that's one of the reasons why you tune into these webinars. You want to listen and learn and expand your knowledge base and maybe focus something on your clients, existing or new clients. And so I'm going to try to spin this under the premise of helping you grow your business. First up is, well, sell something people want to buy again and again and again. And if you look at the latest State of the Union from CLIA, you hopefully, if you've not read this report, I call it the State of the Union, it's the State of the Industry report. If you haven't seen this report, it's actually really good. You should download it. But what this is showing is that ocean cruise has the highest satisfaction of other holiday choices, river a close second. And I think what's incredible is 82% of those who have cruised will cruise again. And that ranking is getting even stronger. So the value proposition, the service, the experience, everything that people are getting on a cruise, and at Norwegian, we take great pride in the delivery of the guest experience, means they're coming back. Not a lot of other products or services in the world offer something that 82% of people are going to go buy that again. Like that's almost unheard of. So you're in an industry that's great, and whether you're selling Norwegian or other brands, I think you're onto the right path. So that's great. Sell a brand with more than one option, aka appeal to a wide variety of consumers. Lo and behold, shameless plug here, Norwegian has 20 ships in the fleet right now, and another one coming out. So the Aqua came out earlier this year, and then the Luna, her sister ship, is going to be coming out next March. And hopefully, some of you will get a chance to see her in her debut when she comes into Miami early in the spring there in late March. Sell a cruise line that invests in its current fleet of ships, not just the new ones. We love our new ships. We love the new builds. Those are great. But we also take great pride in updating and upgrading. And this is a bill you don't want to get. Millions of dollars are invested in our current fleet. I've had people come off the Joy. I was on the Joy myself last fall. It's fantastic. People coming off the Bliss or the Encore, even the Pride of America. One of my team members on board had never been on board, and they were so impressed with the condition of the ship. And so it's so important that we continue to do that, not just spend money on the new ships, but invest in the current fleet. Sell a cruise line that can take your clients all over the world. Now, this is evolving, which I'll talk about in a second here for Norwegian. But the reality is, if you look at our 25 to 26 deployments, going to almost 400 destinations, over 100 countries around the world, we think we have something for everybody. And then, of course, we have our mighty sister brands, Oceania and Regent. But for the Norwegian brand, we have a pretty amazing footprint across the world. But as I said, our deployment has shifted in the sense, if you look at back in 24 versus where we're going to be in 26, what we call fun and sun, so Caribbean, Bahamas, Bermuda, and of course Hawaii, we've got basically a 30% growth in our deployment there. Europe and Alaska are pretty consistent. So what we're seeing there is that the new ships that are coming online are spending a lot more time in those sun and fun areas of the world. Sell a cruise line that travel advisors, that's you, rank as the best for each major destination. Now, don't blame me if you don't like the results of this. If we have some of our other suppliers listening in because they want to steal all of my tips and tricks, this is what you all ranked, and the question was, which brand do you recommend first for each of the major destinations? And Europe, we actually ranked number one, which is always awesome. Alaska number two, no surprise given our relative capacity there. Caribbean and Bahamas number two. Hawaii and Bermuda number one, no surprise. We kind of dominate those markets. Canada, New England as well. We have a great presence there. Mexican Riviera surprised me. I don't know if I agree with this one because we don't have the biggest capacity there, but it's grown quite a bit. But I'll take the number one ranking. Thank you very much. And then private islands number two. We're going to talk private islands in just a second. Sell a cruise line that appeals to multiple segments. And so when I ask this question of the people that I am talking to, an agency executive or leader, or many of you, and I say, who do you compare us to? Who's in our competitive set? I always get a different answer, which is fascinating to me. And I think there's a reason for that. And so if I asked you the question, what cruise segment is NCL actually in? Are we contemporary? Are we premium? Are we luxury? Are we river? Now, if you think we're river, you need to do your homework because we are most definitely not a river line. But the other three, it's a question mark. And so I've come up with, this is not the official marketing angle of the brand, but I'm just telling you, I've come up with a one-word description that defines the segment we sit in, and that is contemporary premium luxury. It rolls right off the tongue, contemporary premium luxury. And why do I say that? I say it because if you're in an inside cabin on the Norwegian Dawn, sailing down to the Bahamas, to Great Stir Key, our private island, that's absolutely a contemporary product, and we're very proud of that. If you're sailing on the Norwegian Encore and you are in a balcony in Alaska and you go to Glacier Bay, um, then that's absolutely a premium product. If you are in the Haven and you're sailing on the Prima and you're sailing up to Norway and Iceland, like I did last summer with my family, those are pictures that I took there, that's absolutely a luxury product. Hence, I've come up with contemporary premium luxury. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, sell a cruise line that supports multi-generational travelers. The CLIA State of the Industry report shows that multi-gen travelers continues to be a top choice, and 28% of cruise travelers cruise with 3 to 5 generations. This blows my mind. Now, I'm on this planet. My parents have gone. I've got me, and I've got my kids, and my a couple aunts and uncles, and that's it. So to hear about 3 to 5 generations, I'm jealous. I think that's amazing. So the people are getting out there and they're traveling with every generation of their family, which is amazing. And the cruise, I think, I'm a little biased, is the perfect way to experience vacation with multi-gen because you each can do your own thing and obviously rejoin for dinner, or if you want to, maybe you just want to have dinner by yourself. It's up to you. When you think of the activities on board for families, when you think of multi-gen, I think Norwegian is perfect. Not only is it the ease of getting around, the variety of destinations we go to, the value proposition, the accommodations that we have available, and of course the activities and entertainment. When you think of activities and entertainment, a lot of this, when you do this montage slide of all these things we offer on Norwegian, the racetrack, the slide coaster on the Aqua, the glow court on the Aqua, the water slides, etc. All great, and that appeals to people young and old. My version of activities and entertainment is this, which is of course the amazing spa, and I prefer to spend my time there relaxing, which is great, but maybe that's just me. All right, sell a cruise line that has the best ship within a ship concept. And this is validated by this survey. You all ranked the Haven as the best ship within a ship concept, and I appreciate that for sure. And I got to say, it is spectacular. This is the view on the Prima and the Viva. It is stunning. And if you haven't experienced it, we're talking, butlers, concierge, private elevators on some ships, private dining, private bars, private deck space, private pools. You don't want to leave it when you're there. It is that special, and we love it. So thank you for the vote of confidence there. Sell a cruise line that has the best variety and quality of dining options. Now, when you put them all together, all the specialty restaurants that we have across our fleet, we've got 20 restaurants. That's amazing. Now, you might think, well, John, you just cherry picked a couple off of each ship, added it up, and you have 20. But look at the Aqua alone. There are 8 specialty restaurants on Aqua alone. And we haven't even included the Indulged Food Hall, which I think is best in class. I love that dining experience. So we definitely have that. I think best in class in terms of specialty restaurants. Sell a cruise line that offers a bundled package that travel advisors believe offers the best value in the industry. Now, this is from the survey, so that I'm going to talk about more at sea here, and that's what was rated the best. But there's been a change. You've seen the email. I talked about it a couple days ago on my webinar. And quite frankly, I can't keep calm because I have big news coming up. We're going to talk in depth about the new change back to free at sea. Okay. But nonetheless, more at sea rated the best value of any of the bundle packages that are out there. And we'll talk a little bit about why I think that is. Sell a cruise line that makes it easy for your clients to drive to the ship, since air travel is challenging and expensive. And it is. It's not especially for a family of four, it is not an insignificant cost. I've got some updates on air later too, but nonetheless, when you think of Norwegian, we have 19 departure ports across North America, many of which your clients can drive to. And we've just launched Jacksonville, and Philadelphia is coming up next year. Presence on the West Coast, in the Gulf with Galveston, New Orleans, obviously all the Florida ports, the Northeast, Northwest, you name it. I think we have something, and people are willing to drive. Your clients, surprisingly, will drive 5, 6 hours versus getting on a plane. And honestly, I don't blame them. Sell a cruise line that has an amazing private island that will be getting significantly better over the coming year. Now, you hopefully have seen the updates on Great Stirrup Key, or K. Okay, I've had this conversation with locals, and they pronounce it Key, but they say we should pronounce it K because that's how it's spelled and that's how it should be pronounced. But nonetheless, I pronounce it Great Stirrup Key. Excuse me, many pronounce it Great Stirrup K. And so we've enhanced the facilities there. We've got the pier coming in just a couple months. We've got the big pool that's coming in just a couple months, and more features coming next year. And the biggest feature coming next year, and I'll say here, sell a cruise line that will have the best water park on a private island. And I've got an exclusive image of this water park that's never been shown before that I wanted to show just for this amazing CLIA webinar today. And here it is, folks. It is going to be the best slip and slide you have ever seen. I cannot wait to rock it. I'm kidding, of course. This is the actual image of the Great Tides Water Park. It is unreal. So we're going to dive in on some of the features here because I think they are worth talking about. Now, some of these are premium. You have to pay for them. Some of these are free, and so you'll understand that as we unveil all the details coming up. But zooming in here, we've got the family slide on the right, meaning I think 6 people can slide down this thing at the same time. We have another slide set on the left, and then we have in the middle cliffs that you can jump off of. One is 10 foot high and one is 15 foot high. Now, if you've ever been on a 10 or 15-foot high cliff, it's tall, it's higher than you think. And so the reason I think people are going to jump off of these cliffs is that you can't really see it in the rendering here, but just to the right behind there is a bar. There's a bar there. And I think that is going to motivate people to jump off the cliff. So I don't know, call me crazy, but you know what people do. Hold my beer, I'm going to go and jump off a cliff. And then, of course, I wanted to zoom in on this incredible, I think it's 181 feet high. We have 19 total water slides or will have on the island. And so something for everybody. And then for those that maybe like a little different experience, we have not a lazy river, but a dynamic river. And the reason it's dynamic is twofold. One is there's a little tunnel there you go through that's going to have a multimedia experience as you go through. Yes, the bar is close, by the way. You can enter and exit at different locations. And it's also the water is going to move at a speed of 175 miles an hour. I'm kidding about that. I just want to make sure you're paying attention. But it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to have amazing experience. I can't wait to get in there and check it out. I also want to mention Silver Cove, which is our luxury experience on the private island. That is still there. It's amazing. 2-bedroom, air-conditioned villas right on the beach. Can't beat it. Great dining. I just had a shameless plug for that. Okay, sell a cruise line that spends the most time in port. When we look at our position in Alaska, and this is for 26 sailings, what percentage of cruise time does our friendly competitors spend in port? 69% in Alaska. Norwegian spends 80% of our time in port. So we're spending even more time in port, which is great. And so, I mean, I think when you go to a destination, you want to maximize your time there. And Alaska, we're clearly doing that. In Europe, our friendly competitors spend 70% of their time in Europe, in European ports, and we spend 93% of our time. I got to be honest with you. There are cruises where there are no sea days to Europe, and it is exhausting, but it's a good exhaustion because you're maximizing your time there, and that's where you, as professional travel advisors, get involved to book those pre and post trips so they can relax before, experience the sights, and of course after the fact. And then if you're saying to yourself, well, John, when is the best time to book Alaska and Europe for 2026? I am selfishly saying right now. We've got amazing opportunities. I'm going to talk about our promotions that are in play. But we are in the sweet spot and we're coming into the Black Friday month and the sales that are out there, and really make sure your clients do not sit on the sidelines because now is the time to take action. Just a little plug for our most popular itineraries. This is on the Encore sailing out of Seattle, that 7-day run, where you, of course, are going to go to Skagway, Juneau, Ketchikan, etc. And then not every cruise goes to Glacier Bay, and I'm not supposed to say this because well, obviously we have other cruises that don't go to Glacier Bay that are just fantastic. Icy Strait Point, Hubbard Glacier, etc. I am partial to Glacier Bay. I showed this picture a little earlier in the Contemporary Premium Luxury segment. This is a picture I took a couple years ago when I was on the Norwegian Bliss of Marjorie Glacier. And the only thing more spectacular than Marjorie Glacier, because it is stunning, is of course my amazing forehead. And I just had to bring that up because they would compete in a spectacular contest. I think the Marjorie Glacier will win, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. This is a fantastic itinerary going back to Europe, a Greek Isles 2026 on the Pearl. To be able to go to all these countries and the variety of voyage lengths, but to be able to go to all these countries in one trip is just spectacular. And from May through November, you've got your sailing options. Okay. I'm showing the slide free at sea because it's back. And you have hopefully seen the email. You may have seen my webinar a couple days ago. And if so, thank you for listening to me twice in the same week. We are transitioning to a refreshed version of Free at Sea effective November 5th. Now, Our internal teams have not even been trained on this. So I'm asking you, I'm unveiling this to you as a sneak peek because I want you to be educated and motivated and understand the why behind it and also the benefits of the new program. But it doesn't officially launch until November 5th. All right. Going back to the survey that I have been sharing some data from and the reminder of the bundle ranking, the current Moritz package by a wide margin was ranked as having the best value. And if you look at the price point of it, I think you'll understand why. Is it perfect? No. We're tweaking it, and to create the new free at sea, the structure it remains the same. We've got the unlimited open bar, we've got specialty dining, Wi-Fi package, excursion credits, free third and fourth guests, um, BOGO Air, which we're not even featuring here. So there's some great elements to it, but I want to walk you through, if I can, the current More at Sea, which you see there, and then what free at sea will become. So right now, and I think there's two takeaways for this as to the why. Let me take a step back for a second. Why are we doing this? Two things. One, the current More at Sea is a little complicated because depending on what voyage length you have, what cabin you're in, what meta, are you in an inside, are you an outside, are you in a balcony, etc. Um, you then have to figure out what your benefits are. The price point changes often, and so we really wanted to streamline it. And so from a beverage standpoint, and then the other why, sorry, is that when we switch from free at sea to more at sea, the more brand, the experience more brand we honestly don't think it has resonated with consumers like we wanted it to. And so I wouldn't be surprised, no promises, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had a brand refresh in the new year. But before that, we are switching back to free at sea because free in some form or another, freestyle, etc., has lived and is associated with Norwegian very strongly. And so moving away from that was probably not the best decision in the end. And so we're going back to free at sea. And let me dive into the details. So the bar package for more at sea, as you can see there, free at sea gets simpler. It actually it shouldn't say 1 to 7 nights. It's all cruise lengths is $28.50 per person. All right. So for on a 7 day cruise, that's about a 5% savings. Still the same inclusion of the most premium brands of any other beverage package out there. It's incredible. And the longer voyages are going to have the same price. So they are going to pay more on a per day basis. But I'm going to talk about what that means in a second because, quite frankly, we have a lot less of these longer sailings to deal with and a lot more of the shorter. And so the bulk of guests are going to benefit from this, but I'll explain that in just a second. When you compare the brands that are our friendly competitors and you look at who has the best priced package, the lowest price package, and we won't name names, but I wanted to show you this grid. So at 28.50 a day for a 7 day cruise, you are looking at $199.50, so just under $200. Competitor A is at 70 bucks a day or 490. Competitor B at 81, 567 total. Competitor C, 83, 581. And quite honestly, there are brands out there that can even charge up to 120 bucks a day just for their beverage package alone. So the price differential, 2 to 3 to 4 times more expensive, depending on the other brand. So I think what you get versus what you pay, which is the definition of value, is the reason why More at Sea in its current form rates so highly, and why I think Free at Sea is truly going to resonate. When you look at specialty dining, and again, I think we have the best assortment and volume of restaurants to choose from, depending on what you like. Here's the current grid, which is confusing at best. Well, I'm in an inside, I'm on a 2 day cruise. So we've streamlined it, and we're basically saying, yes, the number of meals varies, and you pay a $20 per meal charge for any guest 13 and over. 12 and under, there is no charge. They get to dine for free because it's all about the kids, folks. They gotta eat to grow and get big. So if you are on a 7 day cruise, let's say, you are still getting those 3 meals if you're in a balcony cabin. Previously, a 7 day cruise, if you were in an inside, was only getting the one. So now you're tripling that. So the inside and ocean view and the studio cabins that we have are going to benefit greatly from this because, listen, for a $20 charge to go and eat at La Bistro. I mean, that can't be beat. That is just a fantastic value. So we're very excited that this is simpler for you to explain to your clients, and we think it's the best combination we could come up with. And the longer cruising, again, they are going to get 9 plus gets 4 meals, which is pretty good on a long cruise. Previously, a balcony had 5, so we've taken one away. I mean, you give and you take here, and I think the bulk of the people will benefit from this because again, most of our cruising next year, and I'll share some stats in just a second, is going to be on these, 5 to 7 day voyage length. Wi-Fi, I'll just share the minutes for the 7 day. It doesn't change. It's 150 minutes per person in each stateroom. The shorter cruises used to be 75. Now they are doubling. The longer cruises used to be 300. It's coming back down to 150. But I do have some news on that in a second as to how you can get more minutes at a pretty amazing rate. The short excursion credit, and the third and fourth guest sail free, that has not changed. Just a reminder on excursion credit, it's $50 credit per stateroom for every shore X you take, no matter how many you take across the entire voyage. So if you're in port 5 days on a cruise and you take two shore excursions a day with us, you get a $50 credit per shore excursion, right? It's not just a one-time thing per day or per cruise. So it's pretty good there. Group bookings, it's just a cutoff, and this is a broader issue of what does this mean for my clients that are booked now? They will have their more at sea benefits. When they book on November 5th or later, it will switch to free at sea. We are not switching things over. We're going to just kind of draw a line in the sand. And so, whatever you have, if you're part of a group or part of an individual booking, that won't change. But your benefits will stay as they are currently booked or will be booked come November 5th. But just a reminder, shameless plug, Affinity Groups program, we think it's best in class. And actually, I came up with this little thing off the Google, the Best in Class award. I didn't share a slide here, but when we asked you all to rank the best affinity group program, we rank the best by far. Our TC ratio is the best. The discounting you get, depending on how far out you book, up to 15% off if you book far enough out. And the amenity packages, which for a balcony cabin, you're going to replicate the new free at sea package and then some. And so we think it's a really great lineup, to say the least. Will the cost for the free at sea bundle be a package price like it is currently with more at sea, or will it go back to the way it was as a package gratuity? It is going to go back to the way it was. Troy on my team, who does all our graphics, he's just cringing at how horrible that looks. And I just came up with the highlight and the red font. But it is reverting to a package gratuity that you'll see as part of the booking flow. But that is was part of the free at sea, and we are bringing it back. So I've been alluding to this throughout, based on our deployment in 26, who stands to benefit from these changes. Our shorter cruising, you look at our 3, 4, 5 day cruising, significant growth, like 100% growth in many areas year over year. Our 7 day cruising in 26, there's 52% more 7 day cruises than there were in 25. And if you remember what I was sharing in terms of, especially for Inside and Ocean View, who haven't always gotten the best deal, they get the best deal now by far. And there's that many more people who are taking advantage of it because our growth and our capacity in that voyage length for next year, mostly in the sun and fun markets, is going to be there. Now, let me ask you all the question, and I apologize again. We're having a little bit of a tech issue, so I can't see all the comments coming in. But maybe at the end, Joanna can help summarize it. But would your clients pay more for a premium or plus version of this package? I think the answer is yes, based on the feedback I got a couple days ago for the John cast. By the way, I did not come up with the name John cast. I know I'm an egomaniac and a narcissist, but not that bad. It was my team when I joined. They said, you know what would be funny is we'll call your webinars the John cast. And anyway, here we are. So what if Free at Sea Plus, let's call it the Free at Sea Plus, was to include unlimited Starbucks, unlimited streaming Wi-Fi with the chat package, bottled water, premium wine by the glass plus champagne by the glass, a drink package on the Great Stirrup Key visits, because we took that away, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. A 50% discount on additional specialty dining nights. Let's say you wanted even more dining nights, and then prepaid daily service charges. Um, I think this is a great, it's not all, technically, it's not all inclusive, but it's as inclusive. I'm seeing a lot of hearts and thumbs up, so that's great. Thank you all. Um, and I think what are two unknowns right now. I mean, I know, but I don't want to tell you because it hasn't been finalized. And if I say something, you'll hold me to it. And God knows what could change over the next couple days. But hot off the press, the price is to be determined. The launch date is also to be determined. But one thing I can tell you, because I want to motivate you guys, we fought for this, and it was a no-brainer for us because we think the price point for this is going to represent a great value. But more importantly, I want you guys to get paid for it. I want to pay a commission on this free at sea plus package. And your commission will be earned at your standard agency commission rate for free at sea plus. Now, a couple caveats. You have to send me a check for 10% of every dollar you receive. I'm just kidding. It's my attempt at humor. Sometimes the jokes are just for me. A caveat is that you have to have free Etsy, the base free Etsy, in order to purchase free Etsy Plus. But I think this price point, I think this is going to be around 45 to 50 bucks a day. And if you add up what the Starbucks package costs, which I think is like 14 bucks a day, what the unlimited Wi-Fi, which is like 30 bucks a day, what prepaid gratuities are at 20 bucks a day, those we're now suddenly in the 70, $80 range, right? And so to be able to offer this package at a good rate, I think it's going to be the best in the business. Because if you were to add up the current free at sea, let's say it's about 40 bucks a day when you take the 30 for 28.50 for drinks, plus the daily average cost of 3 meals over a 7-day cruise, it's equal about 40 something bucks. Then you add on, let's say it's 50 bucks. You're at the $90 total range. Again, there are cruise lines that are just charging that for drinks alone. So you're going to have all that baked in, and we're super excited. So more to come on this. I'm hoping to be able to launch this as soon as possible. But most importantly, I think you guys are going to earn some cash on this, which is great. And the price point I said will be determined very soon. Now, there's a bunch of assets that my amazing team, I'm going to take all the credit for this. I mean, clearly, but I did none of the work. They've done all the work. They're incredible. Both marketing headquarters has a great flyer that you can download. You can see the QR codes here. I'm going to leave these up for a second. We've got great FAQs on SEO help. I'm going to give you all a second to scan those because I think it's important that you download those. And I'm going to jump ahead to the next slide without jumping ahead to the next slide. I'm going to start talking about it because we removed the beverage package inclusion on Great Stirrup Cay is being removed as of March 6th. And so anytime there's a change, change is often hard. We got a bit of flack for that, and I understand it. But again, when you look at the economics of this, and you look at 30 bucks a day essentially for drinks, and the fact that we included drinks on a Great Stirrup Cay. Yes, other brands include their drink package that extends to their private islands, but their price points are 2 to 3 times what our price point was. And so the economics of it just didn't make sense. That's why we've included it on the free at sea plus. Now you might say, well, John, what if my voyage doesn't go to Great Stirrup Cay? Am I going to be charged the same amount? Yes, you are. And part of that is simplicity. We might change that in the future, but for launch, we want to get this out there as simple as possible. There are so many of our cruises next year are going to Great Stirrup Cay that we are going to keep it as one price point. We do not have the ability to do this for Harvest Cay, which is our private island in the Western Caribbean that we never talk about, that's on me. I need to do a better job of that. Troy, you're listening. We got to talk about Harvest Cay. Let's get that going. We do not have the shipboard system, the property management system does not extend to the island yet. So we're working on changing that. And I believe that once that happens, Harvest Cay will also be included in the plus version of the package. That is my understanding moving forward. Okay, I've left these up here enough time. You guys have seen them. Hopefully you've downloaded them. I'm talking about this. And yes, the drinks packages are being removed from Great Stirrup Cay starting March 6th. But oh, by the way, if you buy more at sea today or next week when it's free at sea, and your cruise is between now and March 6th, guess what? The drinks are included. So for your clients that are looking for a great getaway over, the holidays or in the first part of next year, up to March 6th, the package is there and they don't have to buy anything extra for it. It's included in the package. So you have an opportunity to take advantage of that. I mentioned a little bit about air earlier. Did you know we have an offer right now that's a limited time only? You can book economy class seats with us, domestic flights, and get a 20% discount for sailings through February 11th. So we don't often discount air. We eat that cost. Our BOGO air, we eat a lot of that cost. I mean, millions of dollars a year we spend on that to drive demand. But you have an opportunity right now for your clients that, hey, they want to go to, Great Stirrup Cay. They want to get that drink package before March 6th. They live in Boston and they want to fly down to Miami. Well, they're going to have a chance to get that airfare for 20% off. So if you like that idea, it was totally my idea. If you don't like that idea, I had nothing to do with it. Kids Sail Free is something that we have across I asked the team to create a summary of this, and they couldn't because there are so many sailings, over 600 to choose from. Not just in the rest of 25 or early 26. I'm talking all through 26. There's sailings in 27. Hopefully, you know how to go to Norwegian Central and download our Sales Pal form. And in that form, you can then download it and filter it by which voyages apply to Kids Sail It Free. There are so many voyages, though. It might be easier just to define the ones that aren't including kids sail free. But hey, for a family of four to have your kids go, obviously they got to pay for taxes and gratuities and stuff. But it is still a very great deal. All right, speaking of prepaid gratuities, do your clients like free prepaid gratuities? I realize I'm asking a stupid question, and today is not Ask a Stupid Question Day, which apparently was in September. How did I miss that day? What a great day. Yes, your clients like the prepaid gratuities. Well, during our current spectacular sale. It's a real shame you can't see me because A, my hair looks great. I'm rocking it. I've got my makeup on today, and I just had a funny face as I made that sound. The spectacular sale includes free prepaid gratuities now through November 4th. Okay, so take advantage of that for your clients. That is a big savings. Now, if you're thinking, John, what happens when you launch Free at Sea Plus that includes the prepaid gratuities? What if you have a sale like this where people are getting it anyway? Great question. We're actually building the package so that, and sometimes we do special offers with your agency. Well, you might have a week to sell prepaid gratuities and take advantage of that limited time offer. So either way, if somebody has prepaid gratuities attached to their booking, we're building Free at Sea Plus so that the price point will be lower to reflect that they already have their gratuities. Does that make sense? So you're going to be able to, either way, if you have prepaid gratuities, you will be able to take advantage of that. But right now, take advantage of that sale for your clients. It's a great deal. On a 7-day cruise, that's almost a $300 savings for two people across that period. So that's a really good deal. All right, true or false? NCL only has the BOGO Air program, buy one, get one free. Well, I just talked about a 20% savings. So I think I've given you the tip that no, we have more than BOGO Air. So BOGO Air, and I did this last year. I talked about Sally Savings and Peter Picky. So these were personas we created that if your clients are really cost conscious, they're on a tight budget, and they're not going to be able to afford this trip to Europe or Alaska or wherever we go without a free air ticket, then that's the perfect promotion for them. But they are going to pay for it in the sense of the convenience, because the reason we can offer free air is because it's going to be maybe another connecting flight, or you might be in a center seat. I mean, just know who you're selling that to. But hey, for that family of four, and this is the only way we can afford this trip, it can save them several $100s because of that BOGO Air. But then there's air choice, and this is for the Peter Pickies of the world, which is basically me, where I want to be able to pick my flight and I want to be able to choose my seats, etc. And then we have two options for this for air choice. Let me advance the slide so I leave that up there for a second. Okay, so our Air Choice program is available anywhere from up to 4 days before the sailing, all the way out to 330 days. And then you basically, if you're on flexible air, you choose the flights you want. You only pay a deposit, a 250 non-refundable deposit at that time, and then you don't have to pay for the rest of it until you pay for your final payment for the cruise. So 120 days out. At 30 days out, you will then be able to select the seats on that flight working directly with the airline. We don't get involved in that. You have to deal with the airline and what's available. So restricted air, you pay for at the time that you make the booking, which could be up to 330 days out. The beauty of this is that when you do restricted air, and I'll be honest, I can't promise you what the savings for either flexible or restricted air will be. Flexible is going to be a little bit more of a savings versus restricted air. But with restricted air, you pay for it right then. Tickets are issued within 24 hours, and then you can work on your seat selection. So if you really want to have a certain seat and you're 300 days out from your cruise, you pay it restricted air and off you go. You can then work with the airline to get your flights. You're obviously going to have a much better selection 300 days out than you are 30 days out. So if you're talking to your clients and they are like me, make sure they go air choice and make sure they go restricted, because I think that's just going to give them the best flexibility and best choices. How can you add NCL Air for my clients? You have to call us. Actually, in Seaware and SeaWeb, I think you can do it now, but it's not the best solution. There's a new automated solution coming But if you or even your clients can call us and do it with us with our air team, and they can manage it, or do a conference call and bring them into it, you can make that happen right now for the air choice. Okay. Now we have a new hotel program I want to talk to you about, and this is it's very much like BOGO Air. It's an opaque program where you're going to get a great deal. You're going to be able to select it. And not know until about 30 days before the sailing what the details are. But it is a good offering. We already have our Hotel Program Plus out there, which personally, again, this goes to the Peter Picky Sally savings. Because I'm picky, I would want the Hotel Program Plus because you're going to know what hotel, you're going to get that transfer between the hotel and the pier, which you don't get in the new base program. You'll get a better savings on the program, but then you got to get yourself to the ship. So, like if you're in London and you're cruising out of Southampton, that's a heck of a transfer, plus breakfast as well. So, anyway, choose based on what your clients want. There's a QR code there. Hopefully, you were able to scan that. All right, let's go back to grow your business. I threw this slide back on here because I've spent a lot of time not focusing on some stats and some ideas, but I'm going to revert back to or return back to the grow your business focus. And that is sell a cruise line that recognizes, celebrates, and rewards both the military and teachers. For those of you that know, my dad was in the Navy. He retired as the captain of the battleship Missouri after 24 years. And so this is near and dear to my heart. And oh, by the way, in just a couple weeks, we will celebrate Veterans Day on November 11th, honoring all of those who serve. So in advance, thank you to all the veterans out there and the amazing sacrifices you have made for your country. Whether it be the US or Canada, we have the best military appreciation program in the business, 10% off your cruise fare for both active duty and retired. But it is not just about the discount, it is about the recognition and the celebration of your service that is done on board. It's a great program. Highly recommend. Make sure your clients are signed up. They get registered through ID Me. It's attached to their Latitudes program. And then anytime they book with you, they'll get that discount and the recognition once they go on board. We also have a teacher cruise discount, 5% off all cruise fare, and a $50 onboard credit. You need to be a active teacher. Unfortunately, we can't for whatever reason the system doesn't allow us to register retired teachers. My wife is a retired teacher, so apologies to her as well. But true or false, I got to ask you, still think that's a great program that we do for the teachers. True or false, John fought hard against the teacher program because he spent so much time in the principal's office growing up. That is 100% true. I I had a tough childhood, or maybe I made it tough on my teachers, and that's why. You know what? I should take responsibility for that. Okay, sell a cruise line that has a loyalty status honoring program with its amazing sister brands. This was just announced, I think, a month ago, and so across our amazing sisters, Oceania and Regent, depending on what your status is, we honor you there. You got to email us ahead of time. You can do it as many times as you cruise, but you just have to email us and they'll make sure to update your profile before you cruise. Sell a cruise line that is easy to work with. For those of you who have been following me for the last 2.5 years since I've been on Team Norwegian, it's been great. We embarked on the goal of becoming the easiest cruise brand that you work with. It's so important to us, as you see on the bottom right there, we have a logo to support it. But we don't just say it and then forget about it and then, decide independently whether we're easy or not. We ask you, and this is part of the survey that we ask you to rank and compare Norwegian to every other brand and how easy are we to work with versus them. So in 2023, and I'm extrapolating the results based on the theme of being in school, whether are we A students or are we F students. In 23, we were C students. So we weren't the best, but we weren't the worst. So we were kind of in the middle of the pack. Last year in 2024, we increased to B student status, which is fantastic. And in 2025, drum roll please, believe it or not, we became A students. This is validated by your rankings, and we really truly appreciate that. We are not done. We believe we have a lot of work to do. We have some problems on our effective commission front. We realize that we've got systems issues that we're working through. We're not perfect, but we are very happy with this goal. My goal is to be A plus next year for the team. And so again, they do all the work. I'll take all the credit. As in my mind, that's how it should be. On November 19th, Murphy, he won't be joining me live because of his agent. He won't agree to the terms. But if you scan there, you can register for our next John cast. We look forward to that. Please do join us there. We'll have some great updates. I'm hoping to drag our new Chief Marketing Officer, Kieran, into the fold. let's Troy, we'll make a note of that. Let's try and pull Kieran into that. I want to talk through some marketing updates. I think that's important. And if you're not already following us on Facebook, please do so. You can scan there. A lot of QR codes today. I hope I haven't overwhelmed you with QR codes, and that you actually know how to use them. I think you do, but you never know. But please do follow us on Facebook. We've got two, the public page and then a private page that you have to be qualified in for. Much more B2B stuff there. And the team, Ashley and team, do an amazing focus there. I thank them for their efforts. By the way, the survey, which I'm not even sharing, rated us as having some of the best social media presence out there. So definitely, again, I take the credit, but it's all Ashley behind the scenes. Last but not least, sell a cruise line with the best sales team in the business. In the survey, we said, rank your BDM and are they the best in the business? And we were very, very happy with the results. We finished at the top of the charts there, A students. So on behalf of the best sales team in the industry, thank you. You got my bobblehead there on the left. You got Murphy on the right. Appreciate all that you do. And with that, I'll shut up. I'll have a drink of water and I'll see if there's any questions I can help answer.
Thank you so much for another super entertaining, super informative Norwegian Cruise Line webinar here. It looks as though you've actually answered all of the questions with your slides as you were going
Wow.
through them. So you are a pro at sharing that information that they want to know. There are a couple questions in here that are a little bit more specific to certain bookings or very
Okay.
specific situations. So I'm going to send that to your team. If you want to
Please.
just wrap up, the floor is yours to say goodbye.
Thank you so much. And again, sorry you couldn't see me today, but I hope the information was helpful. Stay tuned for more as we continue to share developments, especially as we got Free at Sea out there now. Please take advantage of our help articles. We have a new NCLU course that's going to launch on that. And then when we have the details on Free at Sea Plus, we will let you know. Happy Halloween, everybody. Stay safe out there. Have fun. Really appreciate all that you do in support of Norwegian on behalf of the best sales team in the business. Love back to you all. Thank you for all the support you've shown today. And thank you, everybody at CLIA. Really appreciate all that you do for us. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.